Kang Hyun wiped the grease from his hands and stared at the engine panel. The massive warship hummed around him, metal and power stretching in every direction. He had been working in the engine room for 6 hours straight. Nobody bothered to check on him. Nobody cared. Human. Did you finish the coolant lines yet? The voice came from above. Hyun looked up to see Commander Vex Thor, standing on the upper platform. The reptilian officer's scales gleamed under the harsh lights. His yellow eyes held the same look they always did when he looked at Hyun. Disgust mixed with amusement. Yes, Commander. All finished, Hyun said quietly. His voice was calm and flat. Vex's Thor laughed, a hissing sound that echoed through the chamber. Amazing. The human can actually complete simple tasks. Perhaps tomorrow we will teach you to fetch like a proper pet. 2 other alien crew members laughed with him. Hyun said nothing. He simply picked up his tools and walked toward the storage area. Behind him, he heard Vex Thor still laughing. This was normal. This was every day aboard the Void's Edge. Humans had joined the Galactic Coalition 5 years ago. It was supposed to be humanity's great moment. First contact. A place among the stars. But the other species saw humans as weak, small, fragile. No claws. No armor. No natural weapons. Just soft skin and breakable bones. The coalition gave humans jobs, cleaning jobs, maintenance jobs, medical jobs. Never combat, never command. The strong species handled war. Humans handled mops. Hyun walked through the corridors of the ship. Aliens passed by without looking at him. To them, he was furniture. A tool that could walk. He preferred it that way. He reached his quarters and palmed the door open. The room was small. A bed. A desk. A mirror. He stood before the mirror and stared at his reflection. Dark hair. Calm eyes. A face that never showed emotion. He reached up and touched his neck, feeling the small scars hidden beneath his collar. Old marks. Surgical marks. Memories he kept buried. Hyun? A voice came from his door communicator. He pressed the button. Yes? It's Nari. Can I come in? Hyun opened the door. Choi Nari stepped inside, carrying a medical scanner. She was one of 3 humans aboard the Void's Edge. A doctor. Smart. Too smart. For her own good sometimes. You missed your medical check this week, she said, setting down her scanner. I was busy. You're always busy. She looked at him closely. You don't talk much, do you? Is there a point to talking? Nari smiled sadly. I suppose not. Not when no one listens. She picked up her scanner. I need to check your vitals. Standard procedure. Hyun nodded and sat down. Nari moved the scanner over him, watching the readings. Her eyes paused on something. She frowned. Your neural activity is unusual, she said carefully. Is it a problem? No, just unusual. She looked at the scars on his neck, barely visible above his collar. Where did you get those marks? An accident, long time ago. They look surgical. Hyun met her eyes. His expression didn't change. Is the check finished? Nari hesitated, then nodded. Yes. You're healthy. She gathered her equipment, but paused at the door. Hyun, if you ever want to talk about anything, I'm here. Thank you, doctor. She left. Hyun sat in silence for a long moment. Nari was curious. Curiosity was dangerous. But she was also kind. That was rare. The ship's alarm suddenly blared. Red lights flashed. Hyun moved quickly to his communication panel. All crew to stations. We have received a distress signal. Commander, Vex Thor's voice filled the ship. There is an attack on the human colony New Sol. Krushan raiders. Heavy casualties reported. Hyun's hand froze on the panel. New Sol. His sister Yuna lived there. She had moved to the colony 2 years ago. A teacher. She wanted to help build something new. He ran to the bridge. The corridors were full of crew members rushing to their posts. No one stopped him. No one noticed one human running. The bridge doors opened. Commander Vex Thor stood at the center, surrounded by holographic displays. Captain Rilvana, the insectoid warrior, stood beside him. Her multiple eyes scanned the tactical data. Lee Do-yoon was already there. The human diplomat. He looked panicked. "Commander, we must help them," Do-yoon said, his voice shaking. "There are people. Your people are not a strategic priority," Vex Thor said coldly. "The Krushan are raiders. They will take what they want and leave. It is not worth risking a coalition warship." "Not worth it?" Do-yoon's face went red. "There are 30,000 humans on that colony, and there are 3 billion Vakresh on Vakresh Prime, 5 billion Trell on the homeworld. Your species numbers do not justify the risk." Vex Thor turned away. "We continue our patrol route." Hyun stood near the back of the bridge. His hands hung at his sides. His face showed nothing. But inside, something cold was waking up. "Please," Do-yoon begged. "At least send a support team. Send supplies. Something." Captain Rilvana clicked her mandibles. "The human speaks with emotion, not logic. This is why they should not serve on military vessels." "Commander Vex Thor, I formally request," Do-yoon started. "Request denied." Vex Thor's voice was final. "Return to your duties. This matter is closed." Do-yoon looked around desperately. His eyes found Hyun. "Say something. Your sister is down there." Every eye on the bridge turned to Hyun. He stood perfectly still. His face was calm. His voice was quiet. "The commander has made his decision." Do-yoon stared at him in disbelief. "How can you be so calm? They're dying." Hyun said nothing. He simply turned and walked off the bridge. But as he walked through the corridors, his hands were shaking. Not from fear. From something else. Something he had kept locked away for years. He reached his quarters and went to his storage locker. In the back, hidden beneath maintenance uniforms, was a small case. He pulled it out and opened it. Inside was a data chip. Black. Unmarked. He had carried it for 3 years. Never used it. Never needed to. Until now. He inserted the chip into his personal terminal. Files appeared. Classified files. Military files. Project Reaper. His face appeared in the documents. Younger. Harder. Wearing a uniform he thought he would never wear again. Subject Kang Hyun. Status: stable. Neural combat enhancement. Active. Threat level: extreme. He stared at the words. Then he closed the files and made his decision. The Void's Edge had 3 shuttles in the launch bay. Hyun knew the security codes. He had maintained those shuttles for 2 years. He knew every system. Every override. He moved through the ship like a shadow. No one saw him. No one ever did. The launch bay was empty. Night cycle. Skeleton crew. Perfect. He approached Shuttle 2 and began the startup sequence. Alarms would sound soon. But by then, he would be gone. "I thought I would find you here." Hyun turned. Nari stood at the bay entrance. She wore a travel pack. In her hands was a medical kit. "Those scars on your neck," she said quietly. "I knew what they were. Neural interface ports. Military grade. I've seen them before. You should leave, Doctor. I worked on Project Reaper 5 years ago, before I transferred to civilian service." She walked toward him. "I know what you are." Hyun stared at her. "Then you know why you should leave." "I know why I should come with you." She stepped into the shuttle. "You're going to New Seoul. You're going to save them. And when you do, when you use that thing inside your head, you're going to need medical support. The neural strain alone could kill you. This is not your fight." "Yes, it is." Nari sat down and strapped in. "Because they ignored the call. And someone has to care." Hyun looked at her for a long moment. Then he nodded and sealed the shuttle door. The engines roared to life. Alarms screamed through the ship. But Shuttle 2 was already launching, already accelerating toward the planet below. Inside the shuttle, Kang Hyun sat in the pilot's seat. His eyes were calm. His hands were steady. But deep in his mind, something was waking up. Something the galaxy had forgotten about. Something they should have feared. The Reaper was going to war. The shuttle shook as it entered the atmosphere. Hyun kept his hands steady on the controls. Beside him, Nari watched the scanner displays. Her face was pale but determined. "The Krushan attack ships are still in orbit," she said. 3 heavy cruisers. Dozens of landing craft on the surface. "How long until we reach New Seoul?" 12 minutes. Nari turned to look at him. "Hyun, before we land, I need to explain something. About what you are. I know what I am." "No, you know what they told you. Let me tell you what I learned." She pulled up files on her datapad. Project Reaper was supposed to create the perfect soldier. They put neural implants in your brain, augmented your reflexes, enhanced your processing speed. But that wasn't what made you special. Hyun said nothing. He kept flying. "The implants connect to something deeper," Nari continued. "Something human. The part of our brain that predicts patterns. That feels danger before it happens. The military called it combat intuition. They made it 1,000 times stronger in you. And it almost drove me insane," Hyun said quietly. "Yes. Most Reaper subjects went mad. The amount of information flooding their brains was too much. They saw threats everywhere. Couldn't sleep. Couldn't think. 12 subjects died. 8 went permanently psychotic." She looked at him. "You were different. You learned to control it, to turn it on and off, by staying silent, by feeling nothing. By suppressing it," Nari corrected. "But Hyun, if you activate the full protocol, if you let it completely loose, you'll be able to predict combat situations in real time. You'll see every attack before it happens. Counter every move. Your body will react faster than thought." "For how long?" Nari hesitated. "The longest any Reaper stayed active was 4 hours. After that, neural damage becomes permanent. Brain hemorrhaging. Synaptic cascade failure. And if I push beyond that, death. Guaranteed." The shuttle broke through the clouds. Below them, New Seoul was burning. Smoke rose from dozens of buildings. Hyun could see Krushan landing craft scattered throughout the city like metal insects. Energy weapons flashed in the streets. His hands tightened on the controls. "There," Nari pointed at the scanner. "That's the civilian shelter. The emergency bunker in Sector 7. Life signs show approximately 2,000 people inside. Can you land us nearby?" "Yes. But Hyun, there are at least 300 Krushan warriors between us and that shelter." Hyun began the landing sequence. "I know. 300. And you're one person." "Yes." The shuttle touched down in a plaza surrounded by burning buildings. Hyun stood and went to the equipment locker. He pulled out a basic coalition rifle. Standard issue. Nothing special. He checked the charge. Full. Nari grabbed his arm. "Wait. I need to know. Why did you stay silent for so long? You had this power. You could have demanded respect. Made them see that humans are strong." Hyun looked at her. For the first time since she met him, she saw emotion in his eyes. "Pain. Old and deep, because I saw what this power does. What it turns people into. The other Reapers who survived, they loved it. The killing. The superiority. They became weapons that wanted to be used." He pulled his arm free gently. "I became a weapon that chose to rust. And now I have a reason to be sharp again." He moved to the shuttle door. "Stay here. Lock the doors. If I don't come back in 6 hours, take off and return to the void's edge. I'm not leaving you. You're not trained for combat. And you're not trained to survive the medical aftermath." Nari picked up her medical kit. "Besides, someone needs to tell the galaxy what happened here. If you die, your sacrifice should mean something." Hyun studied her face. Then he nodded. "Stay behind me. Stay quiet. If I tell you to run, you run." They stepped out of the shuttle. The plaza was empty. Bodies lay scattered across the ground. Human bodies, men, women, children. The Krushan didn't care who they killed. Hyun felt something twist in his chest. a feeling he had buried for years. Rage. Hyun, Nari whispered. Your eyes. He didn't need to look in a mirror. He could feel it. The change. The implants activating. His vision sharpened. Colors became brighter. Sounds became clearer. He could hear heartbeats in the buildings around them, smell the ozone from energy weapons, feel the vibrations of footsteps 3 blocks away. The world slowed down. Reaper protocol, initializing, he said. His voice sounded different. Colder. Threat assessment beginning. Information flooded his mind. Enemy positions, weapon types, attack patterns, probable movements. His brain processed it all in seconds. He could see the battle before it happened. 53 Krushan warriors were between them and the shelter, armed with plasma rifles and blade weapons, moving in standard raid formation. No, not standard. There. Third group. They were guarding something. Prisoners. Hyun started walking. Nari followed, her medical scanner in one hand. The first Krushan appeared from an alley, 7 feet tall, 4 arms, thick armor plates. It saw Hyun and raised its rifle. Hyun shot it between the eyes before it could fire. 1 shot. Perfect placement. The warrior fell. 3 more Krushan rounded the corner. Hyun was already moving. His body flowed like water. Dodge left. Roll right. Fire. 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 3 shots. 3 bodies. Impossible, Nari breathed. But Hyun wasn't listening. He was in the protocol now. Fully active. His mind was a tactical computer running at maximum speed. He moved through the streets like a ghost. Every corner he turned, he already knew what was waiting. Every shot he fired hit its target. The Krushan tried to fight back. They shot at where he had been. He was never there. 1 warrior swung a massive blade at his head. Hyun leaned back. The blade passed an inch from his nose. He shot the warrior in the throat. 2 more came from above, dropping from a building. Hyun spun and fired twice without looking up. They died before hitting the ground. Nari watched in horror and amazement. This wasn't a fight. This was an execution. Clinical. Perfect. Terrifying. They reached the prisoner group. 20 humans huddled together, surrounded by 8 Krushan guards. Among the prisoners was a woman with kind eyes and blood on her face. Yuna, Hyun's sister, saw him. Her eyes went wide. Hyun, the Krushan guards turned. 8 rifles aimed at him. Hyun stood perfectly still. His black eyes scanned them. Calculating, predicting. He saw every possible outcome in a fraction of a second. Get down, he said quietly. Yuna and the other prisoners dropped to the ground. Hyun moved. 8 shots. Less than 2 seconds. 8 bodies. The prisoners stared at him in shock. This quiet man. This maintenance worker. This human they had been told was weak. Can you walk? Hyun asked Yuna. She nodded, unable to speak. The shelter is 4 blocks east. Take everyone there. Lock the doors. Don't open them for anyone except coalition forces. What about you? Hyun looked toward the center of the city. His enhanced hearing picked up something. A communication signal. Krushan command frequency. They were calling for reinforcements, more ships, more warriors. I'm going to make sure they don't follow you, he said. Nari grabbed his arm. Hyun. There are too many. Even you can't. Go with them, doctor. Keep my sister safe. No. I told you I'm staying. Hyun looked at her. Then, stay close. This is about to get worse. He started walking toward the city center. Behind him, Yuna led the prisoners toward safety. Ahead of him, 200 Krushan warriors were gathering. They had heard about the human killing their soldiers. They thought he was a demon. A monster. They were right. Hyun's finger found the trigger. His mind processed 1,000 combat scenarios. His body was ready. Reaper protocol at full capacity, he whispered. Lethal force authorized. The black in his eyes spread until there was nothing else. The silent human was silent no more. The killing had just begun. The Krushan Command Center was a converted building in the city square. 50 warriors stood guard outside. Another 100 were scattered through the surrounding streets. They had set up weapon emplacements, energy barriers. This was their fortress. Hyun studied it from 3 blocks away. His enhanced mind mapped every position, every weapon, every line of sight. He saw the pattern. He saw the weakness. They have heavy plasma cannons on the roof, Nari said, checking her scanner. And those barriers can stop anything short of a tank round. I'm not going through the barriers, Hyun said. Then how? He was already moving. Hyun ran toward a nearby building and jumped. His augmented reflexes let him grab a window ledge 3 meters up. He pulled himself higher. Hand over hand. Floor after floor. In 30 seconds, he was on the roof. From above, the Krushan fortress looked different, weaker. The energy barriers only covered the ground level. The roof was protected by guards, not shields. Hyun took aim and fired. 1 shot. The guard on the nearest building dropped. The other guards didn't even notice. Their dead companion fell behind a ventilation unit. Silent, Hyun moved across the rooftops like a shadow. Jump. Roll. Shoot. Another guard down. Then another. He cleared a path to the command center. 5 guards dead, and none of them had made a sound. He reached the edge of the command center roof. Below him, the heavy plasma cannons sat ready. 3 Krushan operated each one. Hyun dropped down silently. The first gunner didn't even see him. Just felt the bullet. The second turned. But Hyun was already there. A strike to the throat. The warrior fell, choking. The third gunner screamed in alarm. Too late. Hyun spun the plasma cannon and fired it down into the street below. The massive energy blast hit the ground forces. 20 warriors vanished in blue fire. The explosion shook the building. Now everyone knew he was here. Krushan warriors poured out of the command center. Dozens of them. They looked up and saw 1 human standing on the roof. 1 silent figure with black eyes and a smoking rifle. They raised their weapons. Hyun dove off the roof before they could fire. He fell 3 stories and rolled when he hit the ground. His augmented body absorbed the impact. A normal human would have broken both legs. Hyun stood up without a scratch. He was now in the middle of their formation, exactly where he wanted to be. The Krushan surrounded him. 50 warriors in a circle, all pointing weapons at him. Their commander stepped forward. Massive. 8 feet tall, covered in battle scars. You are the human they call the Silent Death, the commander said in broken coalition common. You die here. Hyun said nothing. His mind was already calculating. 50 enemies, 12 seconds until they all fired. He needed 11. The commander raised his hand to give the order. Hyun moved. He threw his empty rifle at the commander's face. While it was in the air, he grabbed a plasma grenade from a dead warrior's belt and threw it to his right. Then he dove left. The rifle hit the commander's face. The grenade exploded. 10 warriors died in the blast. The circle broke. Hyun came up shooting. He had taken a Krushan pistol from the ground, smaller than the rifles but faster to aim. He fired in a continuous spin. Each shot hit a throat, a head, an eye. Places where Krushan armor was weak. They tried to shoot back. But Hyun saw where they would aim before they pulled the trigger. His prediction abilities were perfect. He was never where the shots went. Warriors fell around him like wheat before a blade. 10, 20, 30. The commander roared in rage and charged. 4 arms swinging massive fists. But Hyun saw every punch before it came. Duck. Weave. Sidestep. He moved through the attacks like smoke. He shot the commander in the knee. The warrior fell. Hyun shot him twice more. Head, heart. The commander died. The remaining Krushan broke. They ran. These were raiders, not soldiers. They had come to rob a weak human colony. They had found death instead. Hyun let them run. He had bigger problems. His neural implants were burning. He could feel them heating up inside his skull. The pain was incredible. He had been in full combat mode for 2 hours now. His limit was 4. Nari appeared from behind cover. She had been following him, staying hidden. Now she ran to his side. "Hyun, your nose is bleeding," she said. He wiped his face. Blood. The neural strain was starting to damage his brain. "How many are left?" he asked. Nari checked her scanner. "Approximately 200 still in the city, but most are retreating to their ships. Not good enough. If they escape, they'll report back. You can't fight 200 more. Your brain can't take it. It has to." For the next 2 hours, Hyun hunted. He moved through the city like a nightmare. Every Krushan group he found, he destroyed. He used their own weapons, their own grenades. He set traps, ambushes. He turned the burning city into a killing ground. In the void's edge, Commander Vexthor watched the satellite feed. His mouth hung open. "This is impossible," he whispered. "One human. Just one." Captain Rilvana stood beside him. Her multiple eyes were locked on the screen. "Look at how he moves. He's not guessing. He knows where they'll be. What they'll do. I've never seen anything like it." On the screen, Hyun walked through a street filled with Krushan warriors. They shot at him. Every shot missed. He shot back. Every shot killed. "Get me Earth Command," Vexthor said. "Now." Lee Doyun pushed through the bridge crew. I told you humans were stronger than you thought." "That's not strength," Captain Rilvana said quietly. "That's something else. Something we should have feared." On New Sol, Hyun reached the last Krushan landing craft. 50 warriors were boarding, trying to escape. He picked up a fallen plasma cannon and opened fire. The massive weapon burned through armor like paper. Warriors fell. The landing craft tried to take off. Hyun shot its engines. It crashed back down and exploded. Silence fell over the city. Hyun stood in the center of the destruction. Bodies everywhere, smoke rising, buildings burning. His rifle hung from one hand. Blood dripped from his nose, his ears, his eyes. Nari ran to him. Hyun, you need to stop. Your brain is..." He collapsed. His body hit the ground hard. The Reaper protocol shut down all at once. The black faded from his eyes. He started shaking, convulsing. No. Nari pulled out her medical scanner. The readings were catastrophic. Severe neural damage. Brain hemorrhaging. Synaptic cascade beginning. She pulled out emergency injections. Neural stabilizers. Clotting agents. She pumped them into his neck, his arms, anywhere she could find a vein. "Don't you die on me," she said through tears. "Don't you dare die after all that." Hyun's eyes opened slightly, back to their normal brown. He looked at her. "Yuna?" he whispered. "Safe. Everyone's safe. Because of you." "Good." His eyes closed again. "Good." His heart rate stabilized. Barely. He was alive, but the damage was done. Around the galaxy, the satellite footage was spreading. Every coalition ship, every station, every planet. They all saw the same thing. One human. 300 dead Krushan. 4 hours of impossible combat. The species who had called humans weak were silent now. But it wasn't respect in their silence. It was fear. On New Sol, rescue ships finally arrived. Coalition forces. Medical teams. They found the survivors huddled in the shelter. They found the city in ruins. They found Krushan bodies stacked in the streets. And they found one human, unconscious, with a woman crying over him. A woman who knew that everything had changed. The galaxy had seen what humans could do. What they had been hiding. The weapon they had kept silent. And they would never look at humanity the same way again. Hyun woke up in a white room. Medical equipment surrounded his bed. Tubes ran into his arms. Monitors beeped steadily. His head felt like it was splitting open. "You're awake." Nari's voice came from beside him. She looked exhausted. "You've been unconscious for 3 days." He tried to sit up. Pain shot through his skull. "Don't move," Nari said quickly. "Your brain is still healing. The neural damage was severe. You're lucky to be alive." Yuna? She's fine. All the survivors are fine. 2,000 people. Hyun. You saved 2,000 people. He laid back and stared at the ceiling. Where are we? Coalition medical ship. They evacuated us from New Seoul. She paused. Hyun. Everything has changed. The footage of what you did. It's everywhere. Every species in the coalition has seen it. They know about the Reaper protocol now. How bad is it? Before Nari could answer, the door opened. Commander Vex Thor entered, followed by Captain Rilvana and 2 coalition intelligence officers. Vex Thor looked different, smaller somehow. When he spoke, his voice was quiet. Kang Hyun. We need to talk. Hyun said nothing. One of the intelligence officers stepped forward. Mr. Kang. I am Agent Torval. Coalition Security. We have questions about Project Reaper. Specifically, we want to know how many more of you exist. I don't know what you're talking about, Hyun said flatly. Please don't insult our intelligence. We accessed Earth's classified files. Project Reaper. Neural combat enhancement. 12 subjects survived the program. You are one of them. We need the names and locations of the others. No. Agent Torval's face hardened. This is not a request. You are a weapon of mass destruction. Under coalition law, you must be registered and monitored. I'm a person, not a weapon. You killed 300 enemy combatants in 4 hours. You moved faster than our sensors could track. You predicted enemy actions with perfect accuracy. Torval leaned closer. That makes you a weapon, and we need to know where the other weapons are. Captain Rilvana spoke up. The Coalition Council is meeting now to decide humanity's fate. Many species are calling for restrictions. Some want humans removed from Coalition space entirely. They're afraid. Good, Hyun said. They should be. Vex Thor flinched. I came to apologize. I was wrong about your species. Wrong about you. But you must understand what you did was terrifying. The Coalition needs assurance that humans won't use these Reapers against us. Then don't give us a reason to. The door opened again. Lee Doyun rushed in, followed by a woman in an Earth military uniform. The woman had steel-gray hair and hard eyes. That's enough, the woman said firmly. I'm Colonel Park, from Earth Defense. This interrogation is over. Colonel, we have authority. Torval started. You have authority over Coalition members, not over Earth's classified military assets. Mr. Kang is coming home. We cannot allow a weapon of his caliber to leave Coalition custody. Colonel Park smiled coldly. Try to stop him. See what happens. The tension in the room was thick. Finally, Torval stepped back. This isn't finished. The Council will demand answers. Then they can ask nicely, Colonel Park said. The Coalition officers left. Vex Thor paused at the door. Hyun, thank you. For what you did. Even if it terrifies me. It was heroic. He left without waiting for a response. When they were alone, Colonel Park sat down. Hyun, I'm here to offer you a choice. Come back to Earth. Retire. Live quietly. We'll protect your identity. Or help us with a problem. The Krushan attack on New Seoul wasn't random. We captured some of their command crew. They talked. They were testing our defenses. Hyun, looking for weaknesses. Testing for what? They're running from something that scares them more than we do. She pulled out a datapad and showed him images. Destroyed ships. Dead planets. 3 Krushan colonies were wiped out in the last month. Not by war. By machines. Old machines. An extinct species called the Vorn built an automated defense fleet 5,000 years ago. Somehow, it woke up. And it's killing everything organic. Nari leaned forward. How many ships? 500, maybe more. All controlled by advanced AI. They use perfect tactics. Perfect strategy. They're moving toward Coalition space. We have 1 month before they arrive. What does this have to do with me? Hyun asked. The coalition is panicking. Traditional military tactics won't work against perfect AI. We need something unpredictable. Something chaotic. Colonel Park looked at him directly. We need Reapers. No, I'm done being a weapon. I understand. But I brought someone who might change your mind. The door opened. 2 people entered, a man and a woman. Both had the same calm expressions, the same careful way of moving, the same old scars on their necks. Hello, Hyun, the man said. Been a while. Hyun stared. Minho? Park Minho smiled slightly. They found me on a cargo ship. I was hauling freight to Titan. I thought I left all this behind. The woman nodded to Hyun. I was teaching children on Mars. 3rd grade. They loved story time. Seo Jisu's voice was sad. Now they're evacuating the colony. The AI fleet is coming. How many others did they find? Hyun asked Colonel Park. 6 so far. 6 who agreed to come. 3 refused. 2 we couldn't locate. You make 7. 6. 7 Reapers against 500 AI warships, Minho said. Sounds fair. You're insane, Nari said. 7 people can't stop an entire fleet. Not in direct combat, Colonel Park agreed. But AI thinks in patterns. Perfect patterns. Reapers think in chaos, human chaos. The plan is to board the AI command ships and destroy them from inside, where machines can't predict what humans will do. Jisoo sat on the edge of Hyun's bed. I know you wanted peace. So did I. But those children I taught, they're in danger. Everyone is, and we're the only ones who might be able to stop it. Hyun closed his eyes. 3 days ago, he had been ready to die saving one colony. Now they wanted him to save the entire coalition. What's the mission? He asked. Colonel Park pulled up tactical displays. The AI fleet will arrive at the terminus gate in 28 days. It's the only passage into coalition space. We're gathering every ship we have for a defensive battle. While the main fleets fight, you and the other Reapers will infiltrate the AI command vessel, destroy its central processor. Without it, the other ships will lose coordination. Suicide mission, Minho said cheerfully. Probably, Colonel Park admitted. But you're humans. You specialize in doing the impossible. Hyun looked at Nari. What do you think? I think you'll do it whether I approve or not, she said quietly. But I'm coming with you. Someone needs to keep you alive. You're not trained for this. Neither were those children on Mars. Neither were the people on New Sol. But here we are. Hyun was quiet for a long moment. Then he nodded. Okay. I'll do it. But I want something in return. Name it, Colonel Park said. When this is over, if we survive, humanity gets a seat on the Coalition War Council. No more second-class status. No more being treated like we're weak. We proved we're not. Now make it official. Colonel Park smiled. Already being negotiated. Do-yoon has been working on it. Turns out, terrifying everyone makes them a lot more willing to listen. When do we leave? Jisoo asked. 2 hours. We have a lot of training to do, and not much time. Colonel Park stood. Get some rest, Hyun. You'll need it. They all left except Nari. She sat beside his bed in silence. Are you scared? She finally asked. Terrified, Hyun admitted. But being scared is better than being silent. You were silent for a good reason. I know. But silence didn't save New Sol. Action did. He looked at her. Sometimes, the weapon has to be used. Adius Lee. The weapon has to be used. 7. Adius Lee. The Portance Lee. Adius Lee Dius Lee. Adius Lee Dius Lee. Adius Lee Dius Lee. The question is who controls it? And who controls you? I do, Hyun said firmly. I always have. That's what they never understood. Outside the window, stars glittered in the darkness. Somewhere out there, 500 AI warships were coming. And 7 humans were preparing to stop them. The galaxy thought it had seen what humans could do. They were wrong. They hadn't seen anything yet. The terminus gate was beautiful in a terrible way, a massive ring of ancient metal floating in space. Ships passed through it like a doorway between stars. Now it would be a battlefield. Hyun stood in the briefing room with the 6 other Reapers. Minho checked his equipment with calm hands. Jisoo was quiet, eyes closed, meditating. The others, Kwan, Hana, Taejin, and Bora, prepared in their own ways. 7 humans, all carrying the same burden, all ready to die. Colonel Park stood before them. The AI fleet will arrive in 10 minutes. We have 400 coalition ships ready to fight. But we're not trying to win. We're just trying to survive long enough for you to complete the mission. She pulled up a hologram. A massive ship at the center of the AI fleet. This is the command vessel. The AI controlling the entire fleet is inside. You'll board it using stealth pods. Once inside, you have 2 hours to reach the central processor and destroy it before the fleet overruns our forces. What's our extraction plan? Kwan asked. There isn't one. You destroy the processor and hope the AI ships shut down before they kill you. Minho laughed. At least she's honest. Nari entered the room carrying medical kits. I'm coming with you. No, Hyun said immediately. Yes, you'll need medical support. The neural strain alone will kill us anyway, Jisoo interrupted gently. Doctor, this mission is going to burn out our Reaper systems completely. Even if we survive the AI, we probably won't survive our own implants. You can't fix that. Then I'll make sure you last long enough to finish. Hyun looked at her for a long moment, then nodded. Stay close to me. Stay close to me. Alarms blared through the ship. The AI fleet is arriving. A voice announced over the speakers. They rushed to the observation deck. Through the massive windows, they saw it. 500 ships, appearing from the gate. Perfect formation, perfect spacing, not random like organic fleets. These ships moved like parts of one giant machine, because they were. All forces, engage. Commander Vex Thor's voice filled the communication channels. The coalition fleet opened fire. Energy weapons lit up space. Missiles streaked toward the AI ships. Explosions bloomed like deadly flowers. The AI ships didn't panic, didn't scatter. They simply adjusted formation and returned fire with perfect accuracy. Coalition ships started dying. We need to go now, Hyun said. The 7 Reapers and Nari boarded the stealth pods, small craft designed to slip past enemy sensors. They launched from the coalition carrier and headed straight toward the AI fleet. Inside his pod, Hyun felt his Reaper protocol activating. The familiar cold spread through his mind. His eyes turned black. Around him, the other Reapers were doing the same. Neural patterns synchronized, Minho said over the communication link. I forgot how good this feels. Don't enjoy it too much, Hana warned. Remember what happened to the others who loved it. The stealth pods slipped between the fighting ships. Energy blasts passed within meters of them. Any one hit would vaporize them instantly. But the Reaper predictions were perfect. They knew where the shots would be before they fired. They reached the command vessel. It was enormous, 10 times larger than any coalition ship. The pods attached to its hull and burned through the armor. The Reapers dropped inside. They landed in a corridor filled with defense drones. Hundreds of them. Small flying machines with built-in weapons. The drones opened fire. The Reapers moved. 7 humans flowing through enemy fire like smoke. Every shot they dodged. Every drone they destroyed. Their predictions were perfect. The AI couldn't calculate chaos. Couldn't predict human instinct. This way, Taejin said, checking a scanner. The central processor is 3 kilometers deeper. They ran through the ship. More drones, more defense systems. The AI kept adapting, trying new tactics. But the Reapers adapted faster. Bora took a hit to her shoulder. Nari pulled her to cover and sealed the wound. Keep moving, Bora said through gritted teeth. They reached a massive chamber. The central processor hung in the middle. A sphere of crystalline circuitry the size of a building. Beautiful and deadly. Surrounding it were combat drones. Not the small ones. These were the size of tanks. 50 of them. Set the charges, Hyun ordered. We'll hold them off. Quan and Taejin ran toward the processor, carrying electromagnetic bombs. The rest of the Reapers opened fire. The battle was insane. Combat drones moving with mechanical precision. Reapers moving with human chaos. Predictions against calculations. Instinct against logic. Minho's rifle overheated. He threw it aside and grabbed a fallen drone's weapon. Just like old times. A drone shot Hana in the leg. She fell. Jisoo pulled her back, while still shooting with one hand. Nari worked desperately to keep everyone alive. Injections, bandages, emergency medicine. Charges set, Quan yelled. 30 seconds. Fall back, Hyun ordered. They ran. The drones pursued. But the Reapers had memorized every route during the fight. They knew where to go. The AI was still calculating. The bombs detonated. The electromagnetic pulse tore through the processor. Crystal shattered. Systems died. The command vessel shuddered. It's working, Nari said, checking her scanner. The AI ships are. The floor exploded. One last combat drone. Bigger than the others. It had been hiding. Waiting for the perfect moment. It fired directly at the group. Minho shoved Hyun aside. The blast hit Minho instead. It tore through his chest. He fell. No! Hyun dove to catch him. Minho looked up, blood on his lips. Told you. Suicide mission. He smiled. But we did it. Look. Through the walls, they could see the AI ships. They were stopping, floating dead in space. The fleet was shutting down. We won, Minho whispered. We actually won. His eyes closed. Jisoo destroyed the last combat drone with tears streaming down her face. We need to leave. Now. They carried Minho's body as they ran back to the pods. The command vessel was dying around them. Systems failing. Gravity shutting off. They pushed through corridors in zero gravity. Taejin and Bora didn't make it. A bulkhead collapsed. They stayed behind to seal it, giving the others time to escape. Go, Taejin yelled. Tell Earth we did our job. The bulkhead sealed. They were gone. Hyun, Jisoo, Quan, Hana, and Nari reached the pods. They launched just as the command vessel began tearing itself apart. In the space around the terminus gate, the coalition fleet stared at 500 dead AI ships. Victory, impossible victory. Because of 7 humans. 3 weeks later, Hyun stood before the coalition council. His neural implants were damaged beyond repair. The Reaper protocol was gone. He was just a normal human now. So were the surviving Reapers. On behalf of the coalition, the council leader said, "We thank you. You saved billions of lives. We were wrong about humanity. You are not weak. You are terrifying. And we are grateful you fight with us, not against us." "We didn't fight for you," Hyun said quietly. "We fought for the people who matter. For children like the ones Jisoo taught. For colonists like my sister Yuna. For a future where strength doesn't mean domination." The council leader nodded. "Humanity has earned a permanent seat on this council. You will help lead the coalition's defense. Because we have learned a lesson. The loudest voices are not always the strongest. Sometimes, the most dangerous power is the one kept silent." Hyun left the council chambers. Outside, Nari waited with Yuna. "How do you feel?" Nari asked. "Tired. Old." Hyun smiled slightly. "Human. What will you do now?" "Go home. Help rebuild new soul. Live quietly." "You think they'll let you?" "They'll have to. I'm not a Reaper anymore. Just Kang Hyun." But as they walked away, other species watched with new understanding. Humans weren't weak. They had simply chosen not to show their strength, and that choice, that restraint was more terrifying than any weapon, because it meant they could have destroyed the galaxy at any time. They just chose not to. On New Seoul, a memorial was built. 5 names carved in stone. Park Min-ho, Seo Jisoo, Kim Kwan, Lee Hana, Choi Taejin, Nam Bora. Wait, 6 names. Jisoo had survived, but she died 2 months later. Neural damage. Her implants had burned too bright. Hyun visited the memorial often. Each time, he touched the stone and remembered. They had been weapons, but they died as heroes, and the galaxy would never forget the day the silent human spoke, with thunder.